Welcome to the 5th episode of Jax Does Homestuck. I am Jackie, aka Jax, aka Socially Anxious Dragon. I hope you liked our review episode. We haven't made it yet, so I don't know how it is, but by now we would have made it and posted it, and you would have listened to it, so I hope it did a good job. It is now time for us to start on Act 2. From here on out, things get a bit more difficult than it did with Act 1. Act 2 is still pretty light, but it's definitely getting heavier. Act 1 was super easy. So the episodes might get a bit longer. I'm trying to plan out ahead of time exactly how many pages will go into each, but it's not like I have the word count for each individual page or anything, so it's just going to be a thing that we kind of play by ear, and hopefully as I get more experience through it, I'll be able to kind of perfect what I'm doing. Right now, obviously, it's still super early on. Anyway, let's just get right into it. Years in the future, but not many. A wayward vagabond records a stuttering step in the sun-bleached dust. Act 2. GameSpot, Game FAQ, Esper Beta, General FAQ, Esper Beta Walkthrough version 1.0 April 13, 2009 by Tentacle Therapist. Table of Contents. 1. Caveats and condolences. 2. Walkthrough incomplete. Caveats and condolences. I'd be inclined to dispense with a trite even under less pressing circumstances. Needless to say, I'll forego the inscrutable ASCII banner which typically heralds the striking freefall of these documents. I'll also resist the urge to brandish any copyright marks or the particular neurosis that concerns itself with the theft of the utterly mundane. I'll allow other deranged prospectors to state claims on their worthless plots as the woods burn around them. My introduction will be sparse. There will be no majestic prose blustering into the sails of a galleon as we embark on this voyage together. Nor will there be any ham-fisted prose whipping its limbs under a bedsheet like a ridiculous ghost, for that matter. I won't set the stage or dim the lights. The mood, you will see, will be set soon enough. Since you are reading this, chances are you have installed this game on your computer already. If this is true, like many others, you have just participated in bringing about the end of the world. But don't beat yourself up about it. There was never anything you could have done to prevent it. The end is happening right now as I type and as you read. I have come to understand that we were always doomed through our collective ignorance, and now further doomed by those few who know and struggle to flee. If you're lucky, you'll be among the smaller subset of the latter who are successful. What I mean is, while that game you installed is just one more grinding slab of rock sealing our planet's crypt, it is also your only hope to live. I'm presently faced with the same conundrum as you, and though I speak with more experience, my own outcome is far from assured. I will play the game, as much of it as there is to play, and record my findings here. If you want to live, you will do as I instruct. My condolences, TT. The kernel divides. The two halves go their separate ways, leaving behind the sprite portion. Boy! What is left of the sprite undergoes a mysterious transformation. For a moment you thought you heard someone say boy as if whispered in the periphery of your awareness. It was probably just your imagination, though. You there! Boy! So in this interactive, I'm going to go ahead and read off some of the things that you can get by clicking. So, you click on John and it says, you there, boy. You click on that, and John says, what? This large platform, good grief, what is it, BC? I actually don't know what that's supposed to mean, but that's all it shows on my screen. The alchemist created the apple, or the tree that sprouted it, rather, right on time to save you from destruction. You're not sure if you can say the same for your neighborhood, though. You wonder what happened to your dad. Okay, and I click on the sprite. What's that? It looks different now. After you bit the apple, your whole house seemed to be transported somewhere. Then the apple disappeared and the kernel sprite underwent a transformation. Aside from the change in appearances, the transformation doesn't seem to have any relevant ramifications. I clicked on the railing. Peek over the railing. Getting close to the railing makes you a little nervous. It's a long way down. Clicked on the door. Boy, open this door and walk through it. I don't know if there's an arrow with mine because I know what it's supposed to finish with. Click on the hallway. What is down here? Proceed, boy. Click on the right door. Open this. Your dad's room is still locked. Clicked on the left door. Go in there now. Click on bathtub. Your plumbing appears faulty. Man, Rose did such a piss poor job of fixing the bathroom. It would almost certainly be a mistake to try to use the toilet. You guess you could just pee over the edge of the cliff. I clicked on the window. Peer through that window. At least your backyard was salvaged too. Sort of. I clicked on the exit arrow. Leave at once. I clicked on the poster. I'm not fond of this smug fellow. The man, the myth, the legend. What do you have up your sleeve there, Anderson? Look at that poker face. He's not telling a soul. I clicked on the exit arrow. No, go back. I clicked on the door to John's bedroom. Boy, go in here. I click on the box. Observe this box. The bunny is not in the box. I said the bunny is not in the box. Why couldn't the bunny be in the box? I click back on the poster. Is that John Cusack? Yeah, you guess so, but damn, that door be covering up your man cage something serious. That ain't cool. Click on the CD rack. Boy, listen to me, boy. His name is John, you nincompoop. I click on the rug. Acquire this small Persian rug. It's a towel, dumbass. It will probably come in handy for cleaning up this weird mess in your room. Not that it's a huge priority, though. I click on the poster on the left side of the door. Inspect this ghastly man and his boy. Fred Savage has a punchable face, your ass. More like a talented young actor's face who you would want to hang out with if you got the chance, and also if you were not a fully grown man now. Anyway, the thought of monsters lurking in your house scares the shit out of you, which is why this movie is so awesome. But the fact that those monsters could also be your best friend is what makes it doubly awesome. I clicked on the space poster. Marvel at this adventure in outer space. This movie is... okay, this movie is really bad. Not even you can defend it. You've been meaning to take this poster down, actually. No, that poster was macking me. I click on the Ghostbusters poster. Armed foes of the deceased. Most people say the second one was not as great as the first, but you feel just the opposite. It was really cool and sort of gross how they hosed each other down with slime that made people angry. TG refers to the film as Nasty Manbro Bukkake Theater, whatever the hell that means. I clicked on the computer. Investigate this device. TT. John, are you there? I click on the chat window. It seems you are still connected to the internet. Rose is trying to get in touch with you. You will reply in a moment once you have fully assessed your situation. And I think that's all I can click on, so I'm going to click over to the next page. Boy, quit all this scurrying around. For the last time, this boy's name is John. Fine, John, return to your quarters. Which we were already in. Look at that. You go back up to your bedroom, tiptoeing around this weird petroleum-based sludge. Now, John, respond to your friend unit. TT, John, are you there? Tentacle Therapist is now an idle chum. EB, hey, yeah, I'm here, and not dead, I think. TT, I know. I've been watching you scramble through this house like a lunatic. You should have answered me sooner. EB, oh man, sorry, I was looking around for my dad and I can't find him anywhere. Have you seen him? TT, no, I'm sure he'll turn up. We have more important things to address right now. EB, yeah, like, where am I? TT, I don't know that either, but I've determined your neighborhood was destroyed by the meteor. Wherever you were transported, it saved you from the impact. I have been reading reports in the news. Over the last few days, there have been many smaller meteor collisions with people's homes around the world, and they seem to be getting bigger. Yours was the biggest they've identified so far. EB, wow, okay. So then I guess if this is all the game's doing, then the point is for us to save the world? TT. Perhaps. EB. Then we'd better get moving and figure this game out. TT. Yes, but wait. We should retrieve your PDA. Yet again. It will help to keep tabs on each other while you investigate. I think I can get you closer to it if I can replenish our grist supply somewhat. There may be a way to recycle some that we already used. EB. Okay. TT. I'll meet you out on the balcony. EB. Wait, Rose, one thing. TT. What? EB. You never even wished me a happy birthday. Hello? TT. I was working on something to send you, but I was running late with it. I didn't want you to think I believed meager well wishes alone would suffice for the occasion. That said, happy birthday, John. EB. Haha, oh geez, that is silly. Anyway, thanks. First, take the fabric item on the floor there. The towel? Why? Oh well, you're the boss. You capture-log the towel. What now? Do as the purple text says. To the balcony. John makes his way to the balcony per your awkwardly worded request. Wait, take that... the blue wobbly thing. You whimsically decide to capture-log the totem which was used to create the apple tree earlier. John, recycle the grist as was dictated by your cohort. John cannot do anything with the grist as of this moment. That is up to the expert player. I see. Yes, that will suffice. Rose deletes the perfectly generic objects. 6 units of build grist are restored to your grist cache. Rose expands the grist to drag a new plank from the balcony in the direction of the PDA. John, run across precarious platform swiftly. John isn't sure about that. It's a long way down. Boy, I said make haste on the narrow catwalk. John is very nervous about the idea, and the strident tone of your commands is starting to make him a little upset. Fine. Proceed as your level of comfort dictates. You cautiously walk within range of the PDA. Rose retrieves it. Now take it. You grab the PDA, launching one of the Harlequin figurines into the night. You can kiss that one goodbye. Serious business. Well-pressed attire. Submitting inquiry of concern over cataclysmic event. Pipefan 413 reply. Gray slacks 66. Pipefan 413. Status of health wardrobe. Fedora freak. Neighboring house struck by flaming projectile. In light of fire hazard, evacuating house of all expensive garments. Office urchin 1280. GL Fedora freak. Salvage as many hats as practical. Well-pressed attire. Fedora freak, you are in our thoughts, along with Pipe Fan 413 and his enviable collection of pipes. Fedora freak. TY all. Report. Most hats removed from danger area. Ties next. Just one next command will suffice, thanks. It looks like you're not the only one trying to locate your father after the disaster. These boring men are uninteresting. TT. John, are you okay? You seem a bit tentative. EB. I'm fine, I guess. Since I got here, I feel all compelled to do these weird things I don't really want to do, by some kind of voice that I can't really even hear. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. TT. Perhaps the early symptoms of anxiety disorder, like post-traumatic stress? EB. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? TT. Well, if you can pull yourself together, there are a few more things we should try, like prototyping the kernel sprite again, if possible. We should hurry. My laptop battery won't last forever. EB. Okay, I will go back inside. No, don't do that. Hop off this ledge onto that car. What? No, that sounds incredibly dangerous. Now you're just being a pest. Which turnip truck did you just tumble out of anyway? Who are you? Years in the future, but not many. An unsealed tunnel welcomes hot desert air into its stagnant depths. Game FAQs, Esper Beta. An examination of the basics. Upon connecting with the client user, you, the server user, will be met with a control panel allowing you to manipulate your co-player's environment. You will find that you are allowed to deploy 4 items at no expense. 3 of these are rather large machines and 1 is a punch card. It's quite possible that you have already deployed some of these items before reading this. If this is the case, and you have activated the machine called the Readstuck such that it displays a countdown, you must proceed to section A100 of this walkthrough immediately. The life of the client user depends on it, and if your co-player has activated this device in your environment too, then yours does as well. But if not, please refrain from doing anything with the Readstuck aside from merely deploying it. This will buy us some time to think things through properly and to go over the basics of the game before you find your soft, easily punctured head in the jaws of the lion. As mentioned, there are 4 items to consider, each playing a role in the process which appears to have a singular purpose: to manufacture objects out of thin air. The designers of the game, judging by the language used, regard this process as a sort of alchemy. This may allude to complexities in the production process yet to present themselves, but for now, the variety of objects you are able to create remains quite limited. The items in question are the Readstuck, again, tread lightly with this one, the totem lathe, the alchemeter, and the pre-punched card. I will describe how these devices work in conjunction with each other, and I will use the analogy of having a key made at a hardware store to help you understand. First, deploy all of these objects in convenient proximity to each other. Be sure not to block doors or pathways with them. You can always revise the dimensions of rooms to make space for them, but I'd advise against this or even experimenting with this function. Doing so comes at the expense of build grist, a commodity which appears to be at a premium at the onset and one you'd be best advised to save for later. The Readstuck. Removing the lid signals the moment your life becomes a great whirling batshit pandemonium, somewhat resembling the chaos of an especially ethnic wedding. Somewhere, a soused uncle deliberately shatters china on the floor. Mighty livestock is decorated and then lost track of. The question, "Whose mule is this?" at times can be heard over the din. This is now your reality. But aside from that, it marks the beginning of the process I am about to describe. The countdown begins, yes. Also, an entity called the kernel sprite is released, but neither of these things are all that relevant to this process, to my knowledge. More on these things later. What is relevant is the unlidded Readstuck's ability to dispense Cruxite dowels. It will dispense at least one, though I suspect it is capable of producing more, given parameters I'm not yet familiar with. In my key-making analogy, these dowels represent the uncarved pieces of metal which the hardware store employee retrieves from a drawer or a rack and sets about carving into a key. The 2 following items are needed to do the carving. The pre-punched card. It is a simple Silodex card containing an item. There is evidence to suggest that the specific item it contains is variable from session to session. The card I deployed contained a blue apple. Yours may be different. It shouldn't matter, hopefully. Additionally, the card, as you may guess, is punched, like one used with antique computer systems. The pattern of holes comprises data, which I believe corresponds to the instructions for creating the item the card contains. That it is pre-punched suggests there is a way to punch an unpunched card, possibly imprinting it with the data for the item it contains, though no mechanism for this has presented itself yet. But the data on the card cannot be used to create the item directly. There is a middleman. That middleman is the totem lathe. This is essentially the key carving machine. It will carve onto your Cruxite dowel a pattern of grooves and contours, the sort which makes a key unique. The instructions for these patterns are supplied by the punch card, which is inserted into the lathe pre-activation to configure its chisels. Once the dowel is carved, you have a totem serving as your key, which can be used to unlock the card item through the alchemeter. But at this point, I will diverge from my key-make analogy and switch to a barcode analogy, which is not a terribly strenuous leap to make, since the concept of a key and a barcode are essentially the same, one being a unique pattern of grooves, the other varying black lines. The alchemeter. If you place a Cruxite dowel, carved or uncarved, on the alchemeter's small pedestal, its robotic arm will scan the contours with a laser, hence the barcode analogy. This is the machine's way of reading the data originally imprinted from the card and transforming that data into a physical object. Though typically, this is not done without expense, I believe. An uncarved dowel results in the creation of a perfectly generic object, which is a seemingly useless green cube. It costs 2 units of build grist to make, and I do not advise you waste resources on it. There appears to be many other varieties of grist ostensibly used in combinations to create different sorts of items, which possibly offer some insight into the game's use of the term alchemy. But quite conveniently, there is an exception to this. Creating the item on this pre-punched card costs nothing. This is good because creating this item turns out to be essential. Now that you know this, you can, in your own time, begin the process. Once you initiate it, naturally there is no going back, so best to be prepared, but you probably shouldn't drag your feet too long. As I mentioned earlier, this is your only means of escape. When you're ready, be prepared to follow the steps in the next section swiftly. So your Cruxtritter is ticking. Do this to live. In the distance, meteorites fall with greater frequency. The fires in the forest burn so hot, not even the rain is putting it out. Check status of battery. Your laptop battery is alright for now, but it won't be for long. If the power in the house doesn't come back on, you can think of one last resort, the small backup generator stored behind the mausoleum. Prototype sprite with Betty Crocker box. EB. What? Oh man, you're going to use that? That sucks, what a stupid idea. TT. We have to hurry along, I'm running low on battery power. EB. But the cake mix? Ugh, that's so dumb. TT. I doubt it matters. We might as well just use any old crap lying around. EB. Fine, I guess. The sprite is playing hard to get. You guess that's what you get for originally prototyping it with something that engenders mischief and pranksterism. Do the potted vegetable instead. It looks delicious. Pipe down, you. This is Rose's decision, not yours. Prototype sprite with Sassacre text. EB. Oh, yes, sweet. Now we're talking. TT. See if you can distract it. I'll try to sneak up on it. John, flail about in a distracting manner. The sprite finds the distracting manner in which you flail about to be rather distracting. The pesky sprite eludes you again. Not even the great Colonel himself can outfox it. In narrowly missing with your attempt to create the Colonel sprite, you drop the massive tone. The entire house rattles under the astonishing girth of the book. In the other room, Nana's ashes dump into the sprite, which is caught unawares by the dowsing. Inspect Hag Ash Incident. You find the sacred urn toppled again. This time you're quite sure it wasn't your fault. The sprite is nowhere to be found. Remove Cruxtritter from doorway. EB. Aw man, where'd it go? TT. I can't find it anywhere in the house. No time to worry about it. The next thing we should do is get your server copy of the game from the car. You need to connect to my client so I can repeat your steps and presumably join you wherever you are. We should do this quickly before my house burns down. EB. What? There's a fire? TT. There will be soon. EB. Oh geez, so move this thing already. TT. It looks like it requires a lot of grist to move. I don't have enough to relocate the door either. EB. How much do you have? TT. 0. EB. Oh. I thought about jumping into the car from that ledge earlier, but that sounds really dangerous. TT. I have a better idea. Meet me upstairs. Do again, as purple words say. You're about to head upstairs, but you thought you heard something behind you. It was faint, but you could swear it was a small, light-hearted chuckle along the lines of a spirited hoo-hoo-hoo. Ignore this woman's antics. You're not sure you even saw a woman, let alone any of her hypothetical antics. But whatever it was you might have caught a glimpse of, it sure gave you the willies. You head upstairs on your way to the balcony. Your PDA is acting up again. Indulge the device, but be curt with it. TG. Hey, bro, check it out. I'm working on some new rhymes. EB. Dude, I don't have time for your nerdy raps. TG. Come on, this is hells of ill. Just listen. EB. It sounds like you don't even believe me that I was about to get blown up. But I really was, but now I'm in some weird dimension that Esperb sent me to or something. And now on top of that, I think I'm being haunted by my dead grandma. TG. Huh, for real? EB. Yeah, it's true, but I'll talk to you later about it. TG. I think I could drop some sick rhymes about all this. EB. Man, see, I just don't think all the rapping stuff is really as cool as you think it is. TG. No, this'll be dope. Check it. EB. No, I have to go. Bye. TG, wait. Armageddon's getting waged on us, but I'm a-getting armed and dangerous, sending men in space for saving us. See which play is more courageous. Ben or Bruce, dudes reach a truce, but their blow shoots to use and upsuck it. Affleck's sacrifice, would have to be suffice. Fluck it. Bro be a stained glass saint up on a cross getting hella Christ plagiarists. Bruce is like, off of that crucifix, enough of this fucking savior fuss. Restrained his ass per McLean Redux while Buscemi remained dangerous. When a plan gone astray pays off wasted craterus, ashtray caterin to layers of Matt McConaughey's vague remainder dust. Wait, McConaughey wasn't in any of those Meteor movies, was he? I'll have to make a rap about, I don't know, Morgan Freeman or something? Being the president? They'll be called... Obama made it so that no one gives a shit about black presidents in movies anymore. So you've got to fill me in about what's going on, so I have something to rap about besides all your dumb shit movies. Enough strange poetry from the red text. You head out to the balcony to find out what Rose has in mind. She is messaging you again. The purple text is less irrational than the red text. TT, I'm lifting the car up to the balcony. EB, whoa, okay. TT, once it is up, retrieve the game, then I'll put it back down on the driveway. EB, but the door is locked. TT, then break a window. EB, but it's my dad's car. TT, it's just a window, and this is sort of an emergency. Otherwise, I promise I'll handle the car with velvet gloves. EB, alright. Pickup car. Ridiculous folly. Inexcusable. You're inclined to agree, but hey, accidents happen. You double-check your PDA to make sure if Rose is really gone. Indeed, this seems to be the case. TG is still pestering you, of course, but another chum is now logged in as well. What color are the words that this chum says? GG, I'm back. EB, oh, hi. GG, I went to investigate the explosion I heard. EB, was it by any chance a meteor? GG, yes! How did you know? EB, oh man, it's kind of a long story. Anyway, are you okay? Did it blow up your yard or start a fire or anything? GG, no, I'm fine. It landed a pretty good ways away from my house, and I went to look at it, and it's pretty big. But Beck doesn't want me to go near it, so I came home. He seems to think it's dangerous. EB, well, gosh, he's probably right. GG, anyway, what have you been up to, John? Oh, did you get my package yet? EB, yeah, I was trying to get it, but Rose dropped my car into a weird, spooky, bottomless pit, and the package was in the car, and I'm really sorry about that. GG, oh no! EB, wow, okay, I guess I should start from the beginning. See, a meteor blew up my neighborhood. GG, that's terrible, John, I'm so sorry. EB, but I'm okay. My house is too. Sort of. That game I was telling you about, Esperp, which I was playing with Rose, sort of transported me somewhere at the last minute. But now I'm trapped here, and it's weird and dark, and I can't find my dad, and I just lost the car and my copy of the game in the pit, and I think I have to save the world from the apocalypse. GG, oh. Well, it sounds really crazy and kind of scary, but... it also sounds kind of exciting. I don't know, John. Maybe this is your destiny. If anyone can save the world, I think it is probably you. EB, wow, you think so? GG, yes. EB, well, okay, but it's not even that simple. I was about to connect to Rose to help transport her and save her from meteors and fire and stuff, but she lost battery power and I lost the game disc. So I think I have to get TG to use his copy to save her. But that jackass won't shut up and stop rapping and stuff. GG, ha ha ha, he is so silly. EB, yeah, anyway, I should talk to him about it, so BRB. The green text was attractive. Now view the red text again. TG, when the film crew zooms where the president's at, I'm like, if that dude's black, I'll eat my hat. Turns out he is, so we're all, damn, director's got gumption. Like, we'll all flip our shit he ain't got shining shoes or something. It's called for emancipation. If it's not press election, it's God ascension. And Bruce Almighty, whoops, different Bruce from the one I just mentioned. EB, arg! TG, can't explain to me why this ain't condescension to think I'll shit a brick. Not even he can convey the intention with his quick-spun wit. Rather defray all this tension, sit on his lap while he whittles a splint. And some guy eyes what he does and patronizes, I guess, is the mother of invention. EB, stop rapping for a second, you horse's ass. I have something important to talk about. TG, what's up? EB, Rose is in trouble and she needs help. I was going to connect her with Esper, but I lost my copy. TG, okay. EB, also she lost her battery power. If she could get back up and running, she'll need someone with the game to get her out of there before her house burns down. So I think you should use your copy of the game to help her. TG, my copy? That's gonna be tough. EB, why? TG, I lost it. It's a stupid story and I'd rather not talk about it. Shit be embarrassing, yo. EB, I thought you said you had two. TG, well, yeah. One is my brother's copy. EB, okay, well, get his then. TG, alright, but he's not going to be happy about that. EB, whatever. Also, you might want to read Rose's walkthrough to get up to speed on this. TG, oh man. EB, what? TG, nothing really. Look, all I'm saying is the girl tends to lay it on kind of thick, you know? EB, rolls eyes. Your laptop is out of battery power. There's only one thing left to do. Time to make your way to the backup generator. Knit laptop cozy to shield your laptop from the rain. That would be such a waste of time. Besides, you already knitted one a while ago. You retrieve it from your knitting bag and apply it to your laptop. You capture log the laptop plus cozy. Equip Grimoire to Strife Specibus. That would be incredibly ill-advised. There are some dark forces you just don't want to mess around with. You will understand this better than most. You put the book down. Recapture log your items. You grab the knitting bag and the grimoire in that order. It's always a logistical puzzle with your tree modus. The tree auto-balances, leaving the knitting bag accessible in the root card. Allocate knitting needles to Strife Specibus. You feel a lot more comfortable with this as a weapon. You're so handy with these needles, you feel like you could probably use them to fillet a swordfish. You lose the root card in the process, severing the tree. Hey, careful with all that stuff. Knit plush cuddle Cthulhu to soothe nerves. That would also be a preposterous waste of time. Besides, you're quite sure you've never heard of this creature called Cthulhu before. There are, however, many other specimens of the zoologically dubious you're familiar with, such as... Consult the grimoire. Floothlu, foul patron of misery, to hear his mammoth belly gurgle is to know the epoch of joy has come to an abrupt end. And Nrubiglith, shame beast king of grotesquerie, writhe lord of the moist beyondhood. Hearing his melodious chirps and tongue clicks causes one's bones to explode. And of course there's Agolath, the Deep One. Whenever he grinds his teeth, all the children of a random galaxy somewhere will frown continuously for a 9,000-year span. He is the first and smallest of the smaller gods, appointed in servitude of a vile, unfathomable pantheon of middling gods, which caters to the whims of the noble circle of the horror terrors, an omniscient, omnipotent order of the elite few, forever cloaked in the darkness of the furthest ring. And then there's this strange page containing some rather mysterious notes on summoning procedures. You've never been quite sure what these diagrams are getting at. Take items and proceed downstairs. You recapture log everything the way you want it to appear in the tree and head downstairs. You figure that's enough dilly-dallying. Time to get a move on. You wonder if this rain will ever let up. It's driven since the month began, perhaps long enough to forget its purpose. It no longer even knows to assuage fire. Somewhere, a zealous god threads these strings between the clouds and the earth, preparing for a symphony it fears impossible to play. And so it threads on and on, delaying the raise of the conductor's baton. How you hate this season. April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire, stirring dull roots with spring rain. American sports legend Charles Barkley. Confront mother in hall. Surely your mother is lurking nearby. You should be prepared for an unpleasant confront. What? And now we are over at Dave's spot. This is where we're going to take a break. That was a lot more reading than I remembered it was going to be. I forgot about reading Rose's walkthrough. So this is the end of episode 5. The next episode will be out in a couple days, and I don't think I mentioned it on previous episodes, except for maybe the 4th episode, which I still have not recorded. But I have a Patreon page at, it's patreon.com/sociallyanxiousdragon. And if you go on there, and if you are a patron, like even $1 a month, then you get the podcasts a day early. I might up that. Well, it's hard to up that because I'm doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but for like the weekends, I might have it on Saturday instead of Sunday. But for now, it's the day before. So if you want to listen to it a day early, I'll have it up there, and there's going to be some other stuff I'm going to eventually get up there as rewards. Right now I'm just kind of working my way through, but so yeah, if you ever want to hear it a day early, you can become a patron, just $1 a month. If you can do more than that, that would be great. And again, that was patreon.com/sociallyanxiousdragon. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to Andrew Hussey for creating Homestuck and having this whirlwind of an experience for me to read back through. And I will see you in a few days.